Hello and welcome to the short Vort on Parshas Vayechi. This week's edition is adapted from the English version of Zera Shimshon, written by Rav Nachman Seltzer. And he notes that in the last few weeks, we've been talking about Yosef Hatzadik, his interaction with his father Yaakov and his brothers, and the challenges that he went through until his ultimate greatness was reached. So Rav Seltzer tells a story in volume 1 about Rav Meir Yechiel Halevi of Ostrovska. He was a tzaddik in Europe, and he fasted every day for 40 different years. One time he wanted to go visit Rav Chaim Ozer Grodzensky, who was the leader of European Jewry before the war, and Rav Chaim Ozer was begging him to, or asking him to, share Dvar Torah, and after much effort, Rav Meir Yechiel Levy of Ostrovska gave in, and he said an amazing pilpul, and Rav Chaim Ozer responded by calling him a Gavra Rabbah. And this got an interesting response from the Rebbe, from the Rav, and he said he wanted to tell him what a Gavra Rabbah really is. He brought down the Gemara in Makos, Daf Chav Beis Amud Beis, and it tells us there that Rava says, how foolish someone who stands up for a Sefer Torah but does not stand up for a Gavra Rabbah. Regarding a Sefer Torah, if you don't stand up for it, you have 40 lashes, or you deserve 40 lashes, and Chazal says it's one less than that, it's 39. So here we find the concept that Chazal is at times given the power to change or to explain the words of the Torah, even if it changes something from its literal meaning to some other definition. And here we're seeing that it says that someone who's chayav malchus would get 40 lashes, arba'im, yet the rabbis are able to change it, and they say, no, it's only 39. So this is in Kitseisei in Devarim. So the Rev asks, why is it that we learn the lesson about the power of Chazal to change halacha only from a case where it's more, later in the Torah? Why don't we take an earlier case in the Torah? In Vayikra, we talk about counting up to Shavuos, where we count, it says to count 50 days, Chamishim, and yet we say we count only 49 days. So we see also the Chachamim were able to change this. He explains the difference is there's a context for each one, and that's really important. That when it comes to someone counting whether 50 days or 49 days in anticipation of the Omer and Shavuos, so it's uplifting, but it doesn't cause any pain or change anything either way if it's 50 or 49. However, for that person who's receiving his lashes, he gets 40 lashes, and that's reduced instead to 39 lashes, he feels so much better. So that is a more important lesson about Chazal, what his power to do, and that's actually, he says, what changes a regular leader into a Gavra Rabbah. And from this lesson, Rav Chaim Ozer, he enhanced his efforts to focus strongly on alleviating the pain and suffering of Jews in Europe. And in that way, he merited it to be a Gavra Rabbah. Now, it continues and talks about another lesson on the topic of Gavra Rabbah, and that's Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. He asked, why is it that we had to have Yosef be sent to jail before he become a leader of Egypt and the world? And the answer he gives is because Yosef was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He came from a prestigious, aristocratic, and wealthy family. He hadn't suffered pain in terms of his lifestyle until he was sent away and sold because of his brothers. He went into prison. Presumably, he didn't have much food there. He suffered. He was alone. There was attempted seduction. All these different things he suffered. By this way, Hashem showed him you have to have empathy for other people who suffered. You're not just someone who's wealthy and never suffers in your life, so you can't relate to other people. So this way, he was ready to be elevated to be the king of Egypt, to help people during a famine and other times, and be empathetic. And he became a Gavra Rabbah. So we see there's a reason why there's suffering in life, and sometimes we don't know why we're suffering, things aren't going our way, but perhaps there's a greater purpose that'll elevate us to that higher level and higher standard. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful week and a wonderful Shabbos.